as you're preparing to go on a trip, make sure and take that time to evaluate your bike. These are things that don't really cost you a lot of money, and once you have everything down where you can sit down away from the bike and you can think about it, then you can start creating a plan on what you think you might need to do. So take your time, evaluate it, write everything down. That's the first step. And then once you have all that information down, I want to just share with you a few things you need to think about. And this is where you have to be honest with yourself, okay? When you are evaluating and prioritizing what you're going to repair on the bike, you want to be ultra honest with yourself and the condition of the bike, okay? As you start to prioritize what you need to do, you need to think about 7 or 8 different things. One is, how hard is this going to be to fix on the trail if you have to fix it? For example, if you choose not to rebuild the carburetor now and clean it out, how hard is that going to be on the trail? Okay? How hard or easy will it be to obtain a part? For example, let's say you lose this side cover, or you don't have that side cover. How hard or easy is it for you to obtain that, and how much does it really matter? Say your doohickey breaks or something. How hard or easy is that going to be for you to obtain while you're out on your adventure? The other thing is to evaluate how important is that particular problem or that part in terms of how likely it is to stop my trip. In other words, if you have maybe a rear view mirror that's kind of loose and it's not staying tight, if that rear view mirror comes off and you lose it, is that really likely to stop your trip? Most likely not. If you have a rod knock that's light in there and you decide, well, I want to go anyway, how likely is that to stop your trip if that thing goes bad on you? Something to think about. The next thing is to think about how comfortable are you with fixing the problem yourself. An example would be, let's say your clutch cable breaks while you're on your trip and you have a spare. Is it something that you're capable of fixing yourself? Most people are probably, yeah, that's no problem. But say you have something in the engine or your clutch or something that goes out and you know about it now, if it's something that's going to be beyond your ability to fix, it's probably something you're going to want to fix now while you have someone available to help you. The other thing to consider is, are you going to have the tools to fix that problem on your trip? Are you going to have some weird strange tool that you need to evaluate the volts that come out of your regulator? You're probably not going to have that on your trip, so make sure and check all that stuff now. The other thing is, how likely is that problem going to be to affect your safety? If you have some little thing that you pick up right now and you think it's okay, but you don't want to spend the money on it now or whatever, does it affect your safety? If it affects your safety, then it's something that you need to prioritize now. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take all those things, you're going to think about those questions that we just said, and you're going to prioritize it into 3 things. The first thing is going to be the absolute must, or this is the list, the to-do list that you have to do now before your trip. Okay, those are the items that prioritize and fall into that. Examples would be like wheel bearings, a good battery, a good clutch cable, brakes, that kind of thing. The second item is going to be your recommended list, and these are things that they're recommended. Maybe it's an 8-inch headlight, maybe it's maybe it's new paint or something like that would be recommended, but it's not a deal breaker for you. Those are kind of like your B list. And then your last list is your ideal list, and that's, if I want to make this thing just totally killer, off the wall, awesome, that's those items you're going to have on your ideal list. Those would be like Touratech panniers, a Touratech, engine guard, a $600 GPS unit, those kind of things that are really not critical, but they're, man, really awesome if you have it. So that's what you're going to do. After you evaluate everything, you're going to think about those 7 items, and then you're going to prioritize a list based on how necessary they are for your trip. And that's going to give you a punch list on what you start to work on in order to prepare your bike to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to post in the comments section the communication that EveRide and I have had in regards to the needs of this bike. So we're going to post kind of what our required list was, what our our recommended list was, and what our ideal list was, and how we talked back and forth about that. And you can go through and read that to help you prepare your bike for an adventure. And so that's a quick down and dirty. I've talked way more than I should, but so once you see that list, then our next video is going to be the 5 different areas. So there's going to be 5 different episodes on how to evaluate 5 different major areas, and you'll see them as they come out. So want to wish everybody happy riding, and thanks for coming along with this journey with us. We're excited to get this bike ready for his big trip, and hope that it will be reliable for him and make it where he needs to go and back. So peace out, much love from the both of us.
And hopefully I won't die.